Welcome to North of the Broad, everyone. I'm Robin Zimmerman, your host, and we're bringing you our show from a different location. We're still at the Pat Conroy Literary Center, but we're in the Citadel Room with Jonathan Haupt, who is the executive director of the Literary Center. Good to see you. Is this called the Citadel Room?
It's actually called the Family Room because so much of what's in here relates to the Conroy family, including the quilt behind us, which was made by Pat's sister, Kathy.
Oh, I didn't know. It's beautiful.
It is. It's a remarkable piece.
And there's, but there's a lot of the Citadel kind of memorabilia around too.
Scattered about us as well, too. Lots of stories to tell in this room.
All right, so we're going to talk about some very special upcoming programs. They're community partnership programs, 4 of them coming up in late April and May, and they're with your interns. The first one is, I think, April 26th. So you want to share?
Sure, absolutely. So April is National Poetry Month, and we've been working with our Beaufort County Library all of this month, leading up to this event on April 26th here in the Beaufort Library. So we do a talk called Pat Conroy's Great Love of Poetry. Pat actually described himself as a failed poet because he started out wanting to write poetry in a very traditional sense, but in the end he figured out how to take everything he loved about that and transfer it to that beautiful lyrical prose of his.
A friend of mine who went to the Citadel said, he was a wonderful poet. And he keeps talking about that. And have you seen some of his poetry? And I said, no. So that's really cool.
As a boy, all through high school and college, he was writing poems in a very traditional way, and then figured out how to kind of transfer that to the descriptions that we see in Prince of Tides, of the landscape, of all of that. So I'm presenting that talk on April 26th, as we said, 4:30, and all 3 of my Beaufort High School interns are participating in this. So Holland Perryman, Alisha Arora, and Millie Bennett will all be there with me to do that talk.
And 2 of them are graduating, Alisha
and Holland.
And Holland, right? Yes. I know, you're like a proud dad.
It's a bittersweet
mentor. I know it's
moment,
bittersweet.
But yes.
Let's move on to I Was Born to Be in a Library, and you've got 2 of those coming up.
We do. These were originally scheduled for National Library Week, and then we had some weather cancellation, so we've now rescheduled them. So on May 10th, Alisha and I are doing that talk at the Bluffton Library, also 4:30 to 5:30 that day. And then Millie and I get to do it here in Beaufort at the Beaufort Library on May 24th, also 4:30 to 5:30. And that talk is really about Pat's relationships with libraries over the full span of his life. So the way that public libraries were central to his mother's life, the school library, and the library at the Citadel, the Daniel Library, absolutely essential to making Pat a reader and writer through his formative years. And his own home, his personal library, which includes books that are in the room we're in right now, numbered about 7,000 books by the time he passed away. That's a huge personal library. So the talk is really about understanding why Pat had all of these spaces in his life that were so important to him. And it's a way to honor the libraries here in Beaufort as well.
That's fascinating. And then your final one is in the middle of May 18th. And we were talking earlier about Pat Conroy's deep faith, which I didn't really know.
So we came up with a talk called The Faith of Pat Conroy, and this is something that Holland and I do together. Her father, Patrick Perryman, is the minister at First Presbyterian Church, which is just a few blocks from where we are, and it's where we're going to have that talk on May 18th, 6 p.m., and it's something that Holland and I kind of developed together, but it's really about the idea of faith, both spiritual faith, faith in the divine, and a very humanistic faith, a faith in ourselves and one another, and how that's actually reflected in all 12 of Pat's books. His entire story always circles back around to ideas of faith. And that's not something that people immediately associate with him, though. And yet it's always there to be found.
Right. And so you said that he had been a Catholic.
He was raised Roman Catholic, just like his dad. He had gone to Catholic schools right up until the time he comes here to Beaufort as a 16-year-old and goes to Beaufort High School, his very first public school. Right. But that continued to shape his sensibilities well beyond his time in Catholic schools.
Very good. Jonathan, our time's up. It went by so quick.
It goes very fast.
I know. And so you can go to the website to get information about everything.
They're all free and open to the public, all on our website.
Perfect. Thank you, Jonathan, for being with us once again. And we'll be right back with North of the Broad. Don't go away.